Hello and welcome to JK It's Not About You. I'm Jen Rouse.
And I'm Kelly Mirko, and we're your hosts. We're new empty nesters, and we're here to talk about what the next chapter looks like.
For so long, we were taxi drivers,
Domestic engineers, chefs,
tutors, cheerleaders,
and everything else that goes along with being a parent.
No days off, no paid vacation, and very limited time to pursue our own passions. It just wasn't about us.
It really wasn't. Join us on this new endeavor as we find passions in all things empty nesting. The little birdies have flown the coop and they're living their best lives, and now it's our turn. We're sweating through our 50s trying to figure it all out.
From resetting on marriage, navigating divorce, dating at 50, we're here to reclaim our calendars, our bodies, and our newly found identities in this confusing yet exciting new phase of life.
So grab your glass of wine or beverage of choice, your cozy sweats, and join us as we unpack all things real in our 50s.
Right. Welcome back, everybody.
Here we are in person.
Again, I can't believe it.
I mean, that was a whirlwind. I don't think we've done it in person for like maybe a month.
Yeah, you've been gone. I've been gone. Well, first I was gone. Now you're gone. Where have you been?
I've been doing a little West Coast tour.
Well, we were together for a week.
We were together. We went to Malibu, Escalante, and then I went to Arizona. I went to Palm Springs.
How was your girls' trip?
So fun.
See, that is something empty nesters get to do.
We get to go on girls' trips. I know. It was so fun. Same 7 girls. We've all been friends for a very long time.
Yeah.
And I mean, the weather gods, like I've been saying, are following me. They followed me there. And then where did I go? Oh, and then I went to back to California, to the Santa Cruz Mountains, to a really amazing place called Mount Madonna.
Okay.
Where my aunt lives, and we brought her the rest of the belongings that she had from my grandma's.
And how was the weather there? Beautiful.
Amazing. Yes, and you're in the redwoods. It's just beautiful. A really special place to go visit. They do a lot of retreats, and a lot is going on up there. So Mount Madonna, very great.
Another
spot.
empty nesting thing we can do.
Yes, and we really should.
A spiritual retreat.
Yes,
that sounds right up my alley right now.
It's amazing. And then I went back through Vegas for the 3rd time in a few weeks.
I was there.
You were there.
Yep.
My aunt was there. My husband was there.
Yep.
And I'm happy to be home. I landed home yesterday, and I'm here until June 18th.
That's not very long, Cal. It's like 2 weeks,
that
maybe 2.5.
Yeah. So anyway, it was great. I loved all the adventures. Everything was worked out kind of seamlessly after the tire, and then after that, it's been kind of smooth sailing. So I'm just happy to be home.
And your drive was smooth.
My drive was smooth. Great. Yes. John got the garden planted.
Oh, nice.
So that's going. I feel like these last 3 weeks, like summer happened.
It's just amazing. It's finally, it's so green and
so
beautiful.
Green.
And I love the mountains in the summertime.
Yep.
They trick you.
I know. They do. They do trick you. They might not be done. They might not be done. But
because the snow comes,
But we'll enjoy every day.
I do. I'm loving it.
Yeah.
I'm walking and swimming and
sunning
and all of it.
I know. I need some more sun.
Well, you'll have to come sun one this next week.
I know. I do.
It's so nice. It's so nice. So, yeah. And I've just been home, doing more home improvement.
Yes.
Which is our guest today.
I know. I can't wait to have her on.
She is so smart and so gifted and knows homes and refreshes and remodels like nobody else.
I know. And I think it'll be helpful. Just what do you do with those rooms after your kids are leaving? I mean, that's just.
And I think it's also nice to take a project on like that. I mean,
absolutely.
Okay, I've lived in this house, for instance, for 10 years and I didn't do a thing to it. And
Elias and I actually were just speaking about that when we drove up here. I'm like, I go, Jen has been in that house a decade. And he goes, that long? And I said, yes. I said, we moved back July of 2015.
And I was in here.
And Jen was in this house. So it was April or May.
Yeah.
that you moved in here.
It was.
And he, still has memories of the sandstone house, very vague, but he does remember it. But we were just kind of going through it. It was just
I was thinking about that today too, because a friend of mine asked me, she's like, did you stay? What did you do up here? You must have lived up here. I said, yes, my kids were small. We had a golf cart. Sarah drove the golf cart to the side of the pool. I said, I lived and breathed at all the restaurants because I was a single mom. It was just doing activities.
It was easy.
It was easy. It was really nice.
Yes.
But
the
great
pool
thing.
was gold for sure.
It really was.
I mean, Silver Mountain,
those were good days too.
Those were the days too. But
those were good days too. That lazy river.
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, man.
Yeah.
Yes.
Around and around. But yes, anyway, it's been Promontory was gold for us.
Yes. So I can't wait to pick her brain about how and when is like appropriate to redo your home and refresh. And she really helped me do it economically and spend money that was well spent in certain areas and save in certain areas. And so that'll be fun to talk to her.
Yeah, very smart.
I'm glad you're back.
Thank you. Good to be back. Good to see your face.
Yep. So we'll bring Robin on and
let's welcome
continue
her in.
our conversation.
Okay, let's
Empty
go.
nesting and refreshing.
Yes, the refresh emptiness.
Hi, Robin.
Hi, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming.
Love it.
And it's been such a pleasure. Like I've known you for a long time, just from our kids growing up and everything, but learning about how like professional and fantastic you've done, just helping me sort of navigate empty nesting in my house and you walked in and I was snack clean and you're like, what is going on with Jen? They don't live here anymore.
You wanted me to create more cabinetry space for you. You're like, I need more cabinetry space. And I was like, looking around your kitchen and I said, you've got a lot of cabinetry space. Let's figure this out.
Right.
And sometimes it just takes an outsider's eye looking in.
Absolutely.
Because we didn't need to do that, right? You organized it, right? You got it all organized.
You organized
so you're
it.
happy now with how much, how much cabinetry space you have. Yeah.
Not only happy about the space, but happy that I didn't because I was ready to rip them out.
Oh yeah, we were gonna spend
And you were like, that is crazy money, and these are nice cabinets. They're well made. Let's just paint them and put new hardware.
Just touched up.
Yeah.
Touched them up,
in the
and
kitchen.
you did, and we put new hardware.
And new hardware,
and they looked.
New countertops.
The countertops was where to spend money.
Yeah.
And the lighting. You were very great at having me choose. How do you do that?
Well, so, mixing the old with the new can have some, a challenge. And so you got to figure that out. How, what do we need to update and how do we bring in some of the things that we're going to keep? And, I hate wasting money. I hate ripping out solid wood, beautiful things. And, it not only is it expensive, it's such a terrible waste. And so I can be really conservative in that way. I really like to look at the spaces that people are considering and say, okay, well, how can we approach this to, unless they love to spend all the money in the world, then, listen, I'll do whatever someone is inspired, to do. But if someone is looking to, be value engineer the space and not go crazy, then I like to, see what we can save and how we can change it or keep it or touch it up or change it completely.
What are the priorities maybe?
Yeah. Exactly.
And stages. We started and then I realized how badly my bathroom really needed it,
Yeah.
And I realized how much for me when I'm alone now, I love taking a bath and I love my, and having my own space, without the kids in the tub anymore. Because Sarah used to be in the tub,
Yeah.
And it's I could do a really nice...
Yeah. And a space that you picked out,
Exactly.
that bathtub was here when you bought this house.
Right.
And you do live in the bath, whether it's cold or hot. She's in one of them.
She does.
Yeah.
I'm a water person.
She likes it. She likes her nightly bath.
So it's just, you live in it.
Too, people sometimes when you're in your own space, you sometimes don't see things. I feel like you kind of had to be pushed. I'm all, let's do it up. Let's do your master. You were willing. You were just, you're like, oh no, I don't know. And I said, no, we could do this. And sometimes people, they don't, in their own space, they may not see the potential or what could be changed or what would be worth it, maybe.
And that's why I really want to encourage people to have a designer and have somebody like you, because it's so worth, number one, you get us a discount anyway on the goods, but and with that, you get such great advice, and you don't make stupid mistakes. Like my sectional couch I bought on my own. That was just too big and it didn't fit the space right. And you made a really good point. No one sits in the corner. It's like everybody, and we got 2 nice leather sofas and opened up that whole room, and that was again something I didn't see.
Yeah.
And
everybody, I mean, any space can be redone to kind of change it up. I love changing up spaces. Not that one way was necessarily wrong, but sometimes it feels fresh just to change it too, especially if you need new furniture anyway. Like, how else could we make this layout? Because you've had it this way for however many years, and that can be really feel really fresh for a family who just just to change the space and kind of let go of the old layout
but
if
you
it
need
calls
someone
for it.
like you to be able to go into
I
that
can
space
figure
to
it
like
out
see the
quick.
vision.
Yeah.
But not like
Yeah.
I can't, and I know that like you can walk in and like have this vision of something that I would never think of, and I'm like, oh my God, that is amazing, and that is totally going to work in this space. I try to set it, and then I'm like, okay, I'm just going to leave it. It looks okay, but you can make it great.
Yeah. So that's how I originally started my business, like 13 years ago.
I was going to ask, how many years?
So 13 years ago,
Yeah.
I started dabbling. Probably 15 years ago, I started dabbling. And my original company was called All in a Day Design because I loved the idea of going into people's spaces and really just kind of playing off what they had, because on a budget, the economy at that time was kind of such that people maybe not everyone was running around, buying brand new stuff for everything. So I like to go into a space and like, let's move this around this way, and then just try to minimize how much new stuff that they had to buy.
Yeah. Makes sense.
On the budget. And I still like to look at things and not throw away like a good piece of furniture. Like,
I see you selling it all the time. I do. Well, no, I think that's great. I'm like, okay, she's helping these people get rid of this piece because she wants to put something that she thinks is better in there.
Yeah.
I think that's...
Well, getting rid of furniture can be a little tricky because you have to have a truck and everything to haul it somewhere. So if I can get somebody to come and pick it up, that is, that works. I mean, it's kind of, it can be time consuming, but I've had my little bird flew back home this summer to
You have one back in the nest.
Yeah, I've got one back in the nest for a couple of months, and otherwise I don't really have time in my business to do the side selling of the furniture.
Okay. He's helpful.
And so Nicholas is kind of helping me out with that right now.
That's great.
That's great.
Yeah.
So speaking of the nest, I mean, how many clients... I just noticed that when my kids, little kids are so hard on everything. Floors, furniture, like it just, you just don't want to refresh or redo or anything when they're still at that young age. And as they get into teenagers, they're messy and, like,
Right.
So they're just as hard, and they have friends over that are hard too.
And they're messy. And then I realized, I'm alone a lot. Like, I would like to, have a space that's pretty and like keep it neat and how do you know to guide people? I would say like probably some of them just move, right? Altogether move into something smaller or downsize or, but rather than do that, what did you call it? You had a term for it.
Value engineer the space so that you make smart choices. Yeah, I mean, the kids do beat everything up, and some people might choose to wait it out, wait even the teenagers out. But I will just say one quick thing on that is, we deserve to enjoy things as we go along. Yes. Don't wait too long. If you need something that's going to make you enjoy the space better, maybe go ahead and let the kids tear up one more sectional. You know what I mean? It just, if you can afford to, just, your home is your sanctuary, enjoy it. Don't hold off too long. But then when you are ready, let's say when the kids are gone and you're ready to create these spaces for yourself to, really, it truly is just like you spend so much time there and you need, it just can feel so good to make some of those changes. Even if it's sprucing,
Yes.
if it's just sprucing and you're not changing the space necessarily, then yeah, that can be a really great way to just kind of distract yourself from, that move and what you're missing, and give yourself, like you said, a project. And so aside from, what you might do with their rooms now that they're gone, if anything, you can still create, an opportunity to, okay, this has been waiting. I now have time. I'm not going to all of the sports events or music, concerts, any of that type of stuff. And you feel like maybe our house, not only that, is an investment, right?
Right.
So any money that you might, gather to, take care to do that sprucing, you could consider an investment in an asset that is, that will pay off in the end to take care of it.
Yeah, I really believe everything I did, I'd get back.
Oh yeah.
Because they wanted, if it's dated, they want like a discount so that they can do it.
Right.
And also an emotional appeal, right? Like you see it and you're like, and how often, I mean, it seems like when I moved, everything was mountain, mountain, mountain. Now it's like mountain modern.
Yes.
Like, like you see it change. I mean, it's just like clothes, right? Like fashion, just
Yeah, it does. It
cycles.
changes, and I feel like it cycles faster these days because of all the like easy exposure to internet and Instagram and everything.
Yeah.
The cycles, I think, are spinning faster. So, but I think that that's good and bad. But I think what we can pull from that is just that even though everything's cycling fast, you're like, oh, gray's out, brown's in, or that was popular last year, it's gone already because things are flowing fast, right?
Yeah.
So I think that what the takeaway is figure out what you love, no matter what. Who cares what the style is?
Absolutely.
Who cares what's quote popular?
Yeah.
Who cares what the trend is? Because the trends are happening real fast. You can't
Agreed.
You can't just try to chase those, and that's the point. They're trends, they're trendy. So just try to figure out what you love, and if you love it, you're going to love it in your home. And we can kind of curate that to kind of fit with some of the things you're keeping that you love or that maybe have sentimental value.
And I think that's where the sprucing comes in, then you spruce like the next year with whatever people spruce with.
And
pillows
different rooms, right?
Yeah, photos or what, in different rooms. But I mean, I like this, the sprucing. I could spruce.
Rather than a big gut. I mean, that's just a lot.
It is a lot.
There's all levels. I mean,
exactly.
if you're ready for a remodel, need a remodel, you want to tackle that. Maybe you're going to DIY it.
But even like the remodel that you did, like maybe next year you want to change your pillows on the couches or whatever.
Yeah.
Like that kind of thing. I think is kind of fun to maybe stay in trend with like colors maybe, or I don't know.
I have clients, I feel like my cycle with that is I do find around the 5-year mark, I start to
see them again.
And they want a refresh
of
some sort, especially if it was a rental and it got a lot of beating up, then they want a little more done with that. But if you still want a little refresh in 5 years, if anything, maybe not it's worn out, but you're just would like to change it, change some light things like the pillows, and maybe rugs are a good one that kind of can be an easy swap out to get things something new. Yeah. Or maybe that thing that you kept 5 years ago, you had already had it for 10 and you're like, it's okay now. We're ready.
I'm ready now.
Yeah, we're ready to swap it around. Or like we were saying, like maybe the needs have changed, in the house.
It really does.
The needs have changed in the house if kids have moved out.
And what do you do about that? So like I mean, you have one son that has already graduated college, done. And Nick is just a sophomore, going to be a sophomore, still coming home. I have one still sort of one foot in, one foot out, and then, what do you do with bedrooms like that? Like, what are you seeing?
Yeah, I think there's every situation is a little different, and what the needs are. But so I've kind of played with a few scenarios. Um, and sometimes the kids do still come home a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they come home a little. You have to do what you're comfortable with and what works for you, and there can be hybrid approaches if you're not ready yet, right? If you're ready, I encourage it because it's your time. Like, do some, like you guys talk about all the time, do something for yourself.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's
Absolutely.
now about you.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
now about you.
Yes.
And I just think that if you're ready for that, and you feel like your child is ready for you to do that, they're not upset per se, they're like, Mom, go for it, that's great, you'll always have a place here. But it's a chance that if you're ready to do it, go for it. What is it? Do you want an exercise room, a meditation room, yoga, hobby? What hobby do you want to take? Hobby do you want to take up? But you will need some space to spread out for that.
Or maybe you never had an extra room for an office.
Office?
Yeah,
Yeah.
hobby is a
Do
big
it.
one.
Who doesn't
you know?
need an office these days?
Yeah.
I mean, we have a lot of stuff we got to keep track of.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't want it all over your kitchen counter.
No.
So, I mean, take that opportunity and treat yourself if you don't have that space right now for yourself. If you're not ready to do that yet, there's, like I say, hybrid approaches. Move that, talk to your son or daughter and say, hey, I'm thinking about this. I always want you to know you always have your space here, but would you mind if we moved the writing desk into your space so that I can use it a bit as an office when you're not here? And that would clear up this other room because I actually want that room to be my meditation yoga room. So take advantage of opportunities for what I call flex spaces. I
keep hearing about flex spaces. I think
That's
they're
a great
becoming
idea.
more like popular.
It's a great idea.
Having an office and maybe a couch bed.
Yeah.
Like just
Like
being
a Murphy or like, yeah.
We want to hold these spaces, right?
Yeah.
They get used
Yeah.
twice a year.
Right.
And I actually at one point had to get encouraged myself. I had my office in kind of a, I don't know. It was just not a very great space. It was down in the basement. There were no windows. There actually was no heat down there. I had a space heater, but it was my space and I was happy about it. But I had another designer feng shui person come through the house with me because I wanted some feng shui advice at that time. And she says, Robin, why are you down in the basement with no windows? You've got this business that you're trying to get thriving, and I'm not advising as your feng shui advisor for you to stay down in this basement room. And I'm like, oh, but I have my own. It's great. I literally, I could not blow her off fast enough. I was like, there's a lady. She really got bugging me. And she left. 2 days later, I moved my office.
You did.
Back, it was my guest room that I was coveting. Oh, I gotta have this guest room. She's like, how often do you host? I'm all,
Never.
Right. Nobody comes and sees me. No, it was really like, okay, we have other rooms. I can work this out, And so I moved my office into a prime room on the main level with a view. It was so great.
And what did that do for your business?
I mean,
in your mind,
the business is always increasing and everything, but it just was, it was just great because I was working a lot more at that point, and I was treating it as if it was a side.
Right.
And I was like, I was working a lot of hours and still do, and I was not treating myself like that, and I had to have someone else point it out to me. And so I don't know what the answer to that is, other than try to give yourself some space to think about your needs a little more. Give yourself that, and don't maybe save that extra room for something that could be used daily.
Right.
I think that's wise.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very wise.
And it is an emotional thing.
And I know, and that's part of it. And that's part of it. You don't want your kids to feel like you're kicking them out. And as a mom, we're like, I just can't do that. I'm going to save that room for them. And I get it. But maybe there's a hybrid approach that everybody can, I don't know. I think my son, when we moved, he was already at college.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted to have space for him.
Of
and
course.
I was like, what do you want in here? We've got this room. It's going to be yours, that we're labeling yours on the move. And he's like, I don't care. He's like, I'm fine, Mom. Like, it's good. good, great. No, he didn't care that to have his stuff in there. That was him though. You know what I mean? That was him, and that's how he felt about it. But I didn't know that really till I asked him. And he's like, Mom, I'm really good.
Yeah, the conversation is so important,
Yeah.
obviously. Like, to make sure everyone's on the same page. Because I think our kids are so happy for us that we're like doing stuff and getting out there and changing a room. I think that as much as we're sad, once in a while, I think, we have great kids. I think that they're like, okay, maybe, they need a project, they should have something else kind of going on. So, I mean, not that I've done anything with my children's rooms at all, but
no, but you're thinking about it.
I mean, I could see, if I wanted to, I could see them being happy that I was doing it. As long as they had a space when they came home.
Yeah.
That just it makes sense.
Your move was fairly new. New recently, somewhat. So it's almost like you've not.
It's been 4 years already. Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy. That's even been 4 years, but 4 years is not much.
Nothing. No,
it's not much, right? And so maybe you'll get the 5-year itch. Maybe and you'll be like, okay,
I want a project.
Not. Maybe it's not a bedroom either, Kelly. Maybe it's just something else because you'll have then been in your space enough time that you're like realizing what you like and what you could improve upon.
Yeah.
Very
of it. Very spot on that. Yes, agreed. It's interesting. It's
flex
interesting.
Space.
I like the flex space.
Robin.
Do you have a meditation room?
I don't have a meditation room, but it's funny because my husband has been building me a she shed, love you, for a very long time. And I was going to use it for like a garden shed. But funny enough, I really don't need it for a garden shed because I have this other shed. And
so that could be your meditation.
So I said to him recently, I'd love to make that my meditation room because I love to go outside. And I could walk through the snow in there, and he had put electrical, and I could do a space heater, whatever. So I think that's going to be that space.
Well, that's fun. That's a huge one.
Yeah. So I've been kind of working on that with him.
That's amazing.
We'll see how that goes. But before that, I was going to rip up the guest bedroom and put a hardwood floor in there because it's all carpet upstairs,
and make it
and do it and do it in there.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see how it all pans out, but that's the
I'm not
plan.
to imply that everybody has a meditation room. You just seem like you should.
No, I should. I know, and I do a lot of yoga,
right.
And I think it would be a great space.
Yeah,
for sure. Yes, that no dogs are allowed, or
no
hair.
Keep it
no hair.
Bad enough in the car.
I know. That's exciting.
I can't keep my dogs out of anywhere. I don't have anything. I always say I can't have anything nice because.
Well, I just did, and then what did I do? Get a puppy.
I know, but do you love her?
Yeah.
I mean, my dogs bring me way too much.
I have like a toddler everywhere, ripped up toys everywhere. So much for my beautiful. I was like, I just redid this space, Nate, and now I have this puppy, but she is cute. Yeah.
1 more year.
Yeah. It's okay. She's great.
Yeah, I know. My dogs bring me way too much cuddles and joy.
They bring love,
I can't.
You can't have an empty
unconditional.
An empty perfect house is not really good either.
Who cares, right? I mean, to not do. I mean, I don't know. I guess we're being judgy, but to choose that perfection, I love dogs, but I would not have one because I don't want the hair or the mess. It's I don't know. I feel like you might be missing out, but that's just me.
I agree. Sterile's not good.
Sterile's not good, but you got to take care. You got to take care of the hair.
Yeah,
we have very hairy dogs.
That's why I got noodles. Yeah, but I have to groom them.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we don't groom at all. Yeah. We throw sticks and
you have mountain dogs.
Yeah, we do. I mean,
outdoor.
But they don't have to be cut, right?
No.
Yeah. Exactly.
No.
Yeah.
No.
That's the only reason. Yeah.
No. Yeah. We don't. We don't have to cut them. But they're great, and they provide much fun. And it's just so fun to watch them together. More than anything, just the funny things that they do.
They're funny.
Maybe they need a room. Actually,
the dogs may need a room.
That would solve everything, that they want to be with you.
I know.
My dog follows me room to room.
Yes.
I will say that's something that can be, and that our dogs have become our main focus now that the kids are gone. And we do, I mean, I don't think we're too ridiculous about it, but, we do put a lot of energy into them but we do still I do anyway, want nice things. And so what's cool is that there are things out there these days that make having a pet a little more accessible and reasonable as far as keeping your house. And they've got washable rugs. I've been kind of playing with that.
Okay.
With those, finding good looking ones, and are they really washable, and all that kind of thing. That's a pretty cool feature that's come out.
Yeah.
And just some certain textiles and pieces and whatnot are just more conducive.
Yeah, I mean, you just need like stronger material
And masking hair and stuff.
Yes, like stuff that's easy to.
Yeah, you have to know what's good for that. And your dog, which dog? Okay, does your dog have black hair or white hair? Right.
Yeah. That's how you have to pick your couch, I think.
Pretty much. I've done it definitely. Bring the swatch towards the dog.
Rub it on the dog.
Got it.
Oh, that is hysterical.
That's so funny.
But it's just something to think about. What we're going to do with these spaces, I think will, change our mind as these years go on.
Robin, how do people find you?
My website is www.chaletandcostudio.com.
Okay.
It has all my information and on there, and projects, and should be everything you would need to know.
Yeah, because you help people everywhere. You're helping Sarah with her apartment at school, and again, you have a great knowledge of space and finding stuff and finding things that are economical for those kinds of situations, and then helping me design my favorite bathroom that I still love. And I'm so glad you talked me into that. So,
but in addition to doing this, don't you do some commercial stuff too?
I do not really. I have done a couple of small commercial projects, but I'm mostly residential.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
That's my sweet spot. I mean, a bit of VRBO, which is still residential.
Like, what do they call that? Staging? Like you go in there for the Airbnbs?
Yeah, for Airbnbs. I mean, yes, I guess it's in a way staging, but it's just setting up properties for rentals to be optimized for rentals versus home ownership. Yeah.
Interesting. Which is a big business here.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Well, everybody needs to check out Robin because she is the woman who got me.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, check out her website.
Yes, and thanks for being here. You get to stay, and we're going to do a little cooking segment next.
A very, very quick one. We're just going to make a little bit of dip.
Yes.
A little bit of dip since we're coming into summer.
I like it.
5-minute dip.
High protein.
Yep, high protein.
That's the new jam.
Low carb.
For menopause,
low calories.
Gotta have a lot of protein.
The protein is...
I'm getting my protein.
Yes. It's key.
It.
So we'll see you in a few minutes.
Yeah, we'll see you soon.
Yes, thanks for joining. Welcome back for the JK little cooking episode.
I like that you're implementing this. You've been doing a lot of this protein stuff.
I have been. We've been playing. Today's going to be something like super simple.
Okay.
That I thought would be great for summer because we're doing more hosting and parties, and this is just a simple ranch dip.
That's what we're making? Ranch dip.
Ranch dip out of cottage cheese.
Your favorite thing.
My favorite thing.
Okay.
So
how do we do this, Cal?
We're going to do it. So I would say that the ingredients that we use for this is onion powder, garlic powder. I have fresh Italian flat parsley. I could not find dill. I went to 2 stores. So we have this amazing organic dill weed.
Is fresh better?
Fresh is better.
Okay.
It really is.
Okay.
A little salt and pepper. We have some chicken stock, not broth, as well as about 1.5 cups of cottage cheese.
I see that.
Yeah. So this is something we're going to put all together.
And any veggies can dip?
Yes.
And probably chips too, right?
Chips.
Okay.
Yes.
Although we're not carbing. Okay.
We're not carbing, but there's carbing people out there.
Okay.
So those people.
Okay.
So I'm just...
For protein, not
yes. So, we are going to just put all of these ingredients into the blender.
Okay.
And
see how this thing comes out.
See how things come out. You know what? I have not had this one. And I can't wait till we can make some of the things that I have done. We just...
one day at a time.
Time restraint today. Yes. But this is the parsley that we're going to put in. And it's about a teaspoon. And it's all, that one a little teaspoon of that. Same with that. And the dill. Again, and try to use fresh
dill.
dill.
Do you use salt and pepper or?
Yeah.
Okay.
We do that,
Yeah.
please.
Yeah, just a pinch? Or?
Yeah, pinch it up. You love
Okay,
salt.
I do. So I'm going to do a little extra pinch.
Do a gem pinch, yes.
Okay. Salt I will eat.
Yep.
Okay.
And a little pepper. And you should blend it for 5 minutes.
So it's creamy, right?
You want it creamy. You don't want any of the cottage cheese, curry, chunky kind of stuff in there.
Okay.
So I'm blind.
Yeah, I
think,
yeah.
Is that it?
Yep. That's it.
So we are going to go ahead and just
Nice.
power this up. You could do this in like a ninja bullet if you wanted to.
So if it's a small serving.
Yep, and
Okay.
or obviously this works out great too. So we're gonna put it on. Okay, Jen, this is like the final product. I think we're gonna pour it in this ramekin. We added a little bit of lemon. We needed a little citrus.
I think so.
Yes, no, that was a great
And
suggestion.
a little more salt.
Thank you, and a little bit more salt. But everything else seemed to pan out pretty good. Looks delicious, nice and creamy.
It is creamy.
Yeah,
It looks
it's
just like ranch.
it really does. With all these herbs and
All right.
deliciousness. So grab.
I'm going to try a carrot with
Me
it.
too. I'm going in.
Okay. Yeah. Good.
Just roll it. Okay.
And all your protein.
You know, I have dressing instead of like ranch dressing.
Yeah.
It's a really good alternative.
This is a good 4th of July. Healthy.
It is. It is. Look how creamy you can get cottage cheese.
It's kind of amazing.
It's pretty unbelievable.
It's really amazing.
So,
Thank you, everybody.
yeah, join us for our next JK protein tip.
Yeah, we'll keep bringing them if you guys like them.
Let us know.
Thank you.
Bye.